Hello and welcome to the Stack Exchange, where we cast our thoughts and let our arguments resolve. I'm your co-host, Tristan.
And I'm Tyler.
Today we're back with the tried and true 5 alternate commander options for EDHrec's top 100.
Today, we're going to be going through slots 21 through 25. As a reminder for everyone, if you look in the top right of the screen, the number in parentheses is the current rank of the cards as of the recording of this video, while the one on the left was the rank when we first started this series.
All right, the first commander we're looking at today is Aragorn the Uniter. Tyler, what do you have?
Alrighty, for Aragorn the Uniter, I decided to pick Shalai and Halar. Aragorn the Uniter can do just so much, and I think that's the way he's supposed to be, but I know personally, when I made a deck just for fun, I focused on the green buff ability, and I also thought about maybe focusing on the red burn ability. And I thought, what's better than Shalai and Halar to represent this? Shalai and Halar deal damage to a target opponent whenever you put counters on your creatures, and they deal that much damage. So you put 3 counters on, you deal 3 damage. It's kind of an insane card that goes infinite super easily. I felt like this burn and buff combo is how I would build Aragorn the Uniter.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Aragorn the Uniter is just a card that gives you value for playing cards. I feel like it's hard to not win with this commander. The green buff is definitely something I focused on, so I think Shalai and Halar is a great pick. I had a Shalai and Halar deck for a while that I eventually took apart because it was so powerful, and had playstyles I didn't always love, but Aragorn the Uniter is similar in that way, so that's a great pick. Super powerful commander.
Alrighty, so Tristan, what commander did you pick to replace Aragorn?
The commander I picked is General Pharos Rockerick. This Boros commander has some similar playstyles because it's encouraging you to play multicolored spells and giving you a payoff in the form of a token every time you do. Like Aragorn, obviously if you're getting a benefit for casting a white spell and a red spell, why not just cast a spell that's red and white and get both of those? And that playstyle feels similar in this commander. The only downside is it's only 2 colors, so you can only cast Boros spells to get that ability, but you're getting 4/4s instead of 1/1s, which can be insanely powerful, and I know Boros has like the best payoffs for buffing up token creatures. I know this because I have a Boros tokens deck, so definitely it's going to be powerful pretty much no matter how you build it, as long as you've got those multicolored spells, and the built-in protection is pretty nice.
All right, moving on to the next commander we have today, we have Wilhelt the Rot Cleaver. So Tristan, who did you pick to replace Wilhelt?
The commander that I chose to replace Wilhelt is Grimgrin, Corpse Born. This is also a Dimir commander that can take advantage of sacking your creatures. However, this playstyle is going to be slightly less explosive and kind of slow the game down. I think that this commander can be a super cool Dimir control shell, with a little bit of zombie, tribal, and aristocrats sprinkled in. This commander having removal stapled on is super cool in my opinion, and then also with cards like Relic of Legends, you can basically just turn him into a Phyrexian altar, generating you mana while sacrificing your creatures for other payoffs as well. I don't know exactly how I'd go about it, but I think approaching this, again, with a control mindset could be super cool, and I think that this will pose a cool challenge to anyone who wants to try and deck build a zombie deck in a different way. Alrighty, Tyler, what do you have to replace Wilhelt?
Alrighty, the commander I picked to replace Wilhelt is Gisa and Geralf. I actually built a deck around them for $25. Tristan and I were doing a little deck building challenge. But Gisa and Geralf have, when they enter, you mill 4 cards, and then once each turn, you may cast a zombie spell from your graveyard. So this gives you that kind of recurring your zombies kind of play style. And I found it really fun with that $25 deck, and I'm sure it would be super fun and interesting to do with a higher budget.
Simple commanders are one of my favorite things, so having 2 lines of text that do very simple things, one of them is an enters, so it's not even going to happen too often, but being able to, get a little bit of card advantage from your graveyard is always a great thing. Great pick here. The next commander we're going to be looking at is Zhulodok, Void Gorger. This absolute powerhouse of a commander is typically an Eldrazi tribal with a ton of value off of Cascade. So Tyler, what did you pick to replace this commander?
The alternate commander I would like to offer for Zhulodok is Emoti Celebrant of Bounty. Emoti has Cascade, and spells you cast with converted mana cost 6 or greater have Cascade. This is a extremely similar text line to Zhulodok. Zhulodok gives mana value 7 or greater, Emoti gives mana value 6 or greater. I like Emoti a little more because not only do they have Cascade on themselves, but they also actually have access to colors. So you can do more than just be an Eldrazi deck. That's kind of all Zhulodok can do since he is colorless. But I like Emoti's access to Simic because you also have a lot of big creatures in green, which can take advantage of this Cascade effect.
No, I think this is actually a really cool pick for a few reasons. One, I feel like Zhulodok comes out and it's just like, you better be ready for what's coming. It's coming. And it's just always waiting to see what's going to happen. You're just waiting on this explosive turn because he costs 6 mana. And then you have to cast a 7 cost card after him. With Emoti, this is happening exactly 1 turn earlier, with it being a 5 cost instead of 6 and giving spells with 6 cost or greater instead of 7 Cascade. Additionally, I really like to see 5 mana value commanders in green because Kodama's Reach and Cultivate curve perfectly into a 5 cost commander while building up a ton of mana early to be able to cascade into bigger spells by casting those 6 cost spells. This was a really cool pick and something I haven't seen before, and I don't know why. I think that this would be so powerful.
Alrighty, so Tristan, who did you pick as your alternative commander for Zhulodok?
This is really funny. It's actually pretty on theme for us. I picked Rakdos, Lord of Riots. You picked the Simic commander. I picked the Rakdos commander. Rakdos, Lord of Riots, has one of the best ramp abilities in the game, and you're in the exact colors to feed this ability of life loss. Rakdos, Lord of Riots can be kind of hard to cast, but once he's on the battlefield, finding damage to reduce your spells by a ton is no problem, and you're basically going to be having Cascade as you cast 4 or 5, 7+ cost spells a turn. There are so many engines that I like for Rakdos, Lord of Riots. One of them that I typically don't like but love in this deck is Descent into Avernus, because the first time it triggers, you're going to be discounting your spells by 6 mana and getting 2 treasures, so you can basically cast an 8 mana spell for free. Let me paint you a picture really quick. Descent into Avernus is a 3 cost card, so playing that on turn 3, Rakdos on turn 4, is going to just start going crazy, discounting all of your spells instantly while burning out the table and generating a ton of mana. I personally avoided this commander for a while because I don't like that it always turned into Eldrazi, but if you're looking for a replacement to an Eldrazi commander, why not spice it up with 2 of my favorite colors and also a really powerful effect? So definitely give this commander a try.
I actually find the commanders we have picked here really funny, like you mentioned, because I do Simic, you do Rakdos, and one of our friends from our dedicated pod does colorless Eldrazi. So it feels like I'm looking at commanders that we would see sitting at our pod.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If we were charged with the mission of building an Eldrazi deck, each of us would show up with these cards. I know it.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate. Speaking of Eldrazi, the next commander we have is the new Ulalek Fused Atrocity, which is actually the Eldrazi commander that the previously mentioned friend uses. So Tristan, what alternative commander did you pick for Ulalek?
I just can't get away from this Eldrazi player. The commander I picked to replace Ulalek is Riku of 2 Reflections. Riku is also a 5 cost and also costs 2 mana to copy something that you're casting, similar to Ulalek. The only difference here is that it's going to copy instants or sorcery spells, regardless of the color. And then you can also copy the creatures, just like Ulalek can, but again, regardless of the color. I really like the fact that you can pay 2 different color types into this. It's just like really cool design in my opinion. Also, just having a generally powerful effect of copying a ton of strong creatures, just like you'd want to do in an Ulalek deck. I'm going to keep repeating myself and saying that restricting colors is one of the best ways that you can grow as a deck builder. So any of these 5-color decks, restricting yourself down to 2 or 3 colors is a pretty cool way to go. So that's why I'd suggest Riku.
I do agree. I really like the idea of using the different splits in the color identities and the abilities. Something I noticed that actually is now bothering me about the art is that it goes red, blue, green, but on the card it's green, blue, red.
It's mirrored.
I guess you could say that it's weird, but seeing it now is screwed with me.
Okay, just imagine that you're holding the card up to water and the reflection is the art. I don't know. Yeah, that
Yeah,
bothers
but then
me.
it reflects the colors. Okay, we're getting off topic.
Okay, Tyler, what commander did you pick to replace Ulalek?
The commander I picked to replace Ulalek, you know very well, and that is Alania Divergent Storm. You actually recently put out a video about Alania, so I don't think I need to explain it to you. We'll have a link to that video in the description below. I encourage you to check it out. He made 3 different decks for this commander, but Alania copies the first instant, the first sorcery, and the first otter spell other than Alania you cast each turn, and all you have to do to copy it is give someone a card. So it's kind of that Bloomborough gift a card kind of mechanic, but you get to copy instant sorcery and otter spell. Usually when you see effects like this, it's instant or sorcery or otter spell. So I think it's really cool that Alania does each and every one of them.
I think that, yeah, obviously I built a deck around it. I have a video about it. Go check that out. I've got 3 deck techs for you, like mentioned, but the fact that you don't have to pay mana to copy is just so insanely powerful. Like, it feels like you're giving up a card, but at the same time, that can be kind of a politicking point. Like someone mentioned in the comments where it's like, I'll give you a card if you like don't remove Alania and just let me like copy my spells. And most of the time, I feel like casual commander players are going to be like, okay. So it's a super powerful effect that doesn't really have much of a downside. Great pick, Ty. For the last commander or commanders of the day, we have the partner pairing of Frodo, Adventurous Hobbit, and Sam, Loyal Attendant. So, Tyler, what commander did you pick to replace this bite-sized duo?
The alternative commander I picked for this duo is Amalia. Amalia is a 2/2 with a ward ability to keep her extra safe, and whenever you gain life, she gets to explore. And if you don't remember, exploring is you get to reveal the top of your library. If it's a land card, you get to put it into your hand. If not, you can either choose to put it in the yard or leave it on top, and then you also put a counter on the creature that explored. Then, when Amalia is at exactly 20 power, you destroy all other creatures. I think Amalia kind of fits Frodo and Sam's like life gain kind of mindset, but she also not only becomes a big swinging threat, but when you get to 20, so literally 1 off of commander damage lethal, she destroys everything else, and now there are no blockers to stop you. I think it's a really interesting commander, and I recently built a life gain deck, so I'm kind of I got a soft spot for life gain at the moment.
I personally never realized that it's all other creatures. I thought it was just all creatures. That's so dumb. This is such a good Voltron commander. Just get to 21 and then swing in when there's no creatures. Okay, that's a really interesting pick. I'll have to look into that for sure.
Alrighty, so Tristan, who did you pick to replace this duo?
The commander I chose is none other than Samwise Gamgee. I mean, it's just kind of a good replacement. You still get to keep Sam around, and he's better than Frodo anyway, so just lose that other guy. You're still doing a food theme, and now you just get to play a ton of creatures. There's not a ton that I'm going to say about this deck, because I do have a deck tech about this on the channel. So go check that out. The link will be in the description below. It's a great deck tech if you want a high-power Samwise deck. But yeah, I think that this is a really cool commander that's not as popular as he should be. Those are all the commanders we have for you today. Let us know if you disagree or have other commanders that you would pick to replace any ones that we chose today.
Thank you everyone for watching. Feel free to drop any thoughts you have in the comments below. We always love to read through those. And if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. It helps the video grow and helps the channel. If you want to hear more from us and make sure you never miss an upload, feel free to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get notified whenever we release a new video.
If you're wondering where the previous 20 commanders were, go to our other alternative commander videos and check those out. We've got some great suggestions in those as well. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.